Welcome back to the Reptiles With Podcast. We're hanging out at Repticon Orlando. I'm sitting here with Nick. Before we get started, this episode was brought to you by Repticon Reptile Shows, Premium Crickets, and Reptiles Express. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
Mr. Nick,
What's
the
up?
most beginner bearded dragon owner ever. What's up, bro?
It's been good, man. I'm excited to be here. Biggest fan.
Hell
Number
yeah.
one fan.
Listen, if anybody ever reads the comments and is like, who is this lizard guy 69? That's him, dude.
It's me.
This is lizard guy 69 in the flesh.
In the flesh.
Yeah, so Nick, you're a bearded dragon owner, bearded dragon breeder. What else are
Yeah,
you what else are you into? What else are you doing?
Well, bearded dragons are just the beginning right now. It's what's affordable for me. I started, maybe got a little too many at one point, so it kind of set me back just a little bit. I have a couple guys that aren't really doing too much for me. I'm gonna have to rehome soon, but that's not the end of it. I'm a huge fan of anything like prehistoric looking. Like as far as geckos go, like the lychees, there's still a bunch of species that I don't even know yet. But
Yeah.
bigger stuff like frillies,
Yeah.
big frilly guy. I want to get into the Australian water dragons, most if not all the monitors if I can, and any snake that's not a ball python.
Nice. So the dynamic with Nick and I is I love to roast him about his love for bearded dragons because if you watch this podcast, you know that I'm a big blue tongue fan.
Blue tongue guy.
And then his throwback to me is he makes fun of me for breeding ball pythons and racks. That's our friendly fire. But we met in Imperial Miami.
Yep.
Imperial Reptiles Miami. That's where we first worked together. Now you moved up here. You're getting settled. How's everything been keeping reptiles in Central Florida?
I love it. I mean, just being here in general, it's a lot better than Miami. If you're from there, you know the traffic is awful.
Yeah.
But being here, finally being up here in Orlando, like Imperial Reptiles Miami was a little hole in the wall, 3 times as small as what we got right now. And we just had the basic stuff, like being able to work with everything that we have right now at the store has been the closest I'll get to a dream for me.
Yeah. The thing that the biggest takeaway that I had when I left was that the customer base was so different.
Because
a lot of the reptile, the people that would shop at, a lot of the people that would shop at the reptile stores in Miami, I feel like they were not as prepared. Mind you, that's a generalization. It's not
Right.
everybody, but a lot of people, wanted like the easy way out, where here it's a lot more like of your hobbyist attitude.
Yeah.
People are okay with spending a little bit of money on the right stuff,
like
the right
what can
enclosure.
I do to have this animal thrive? And
Exactly.
I love that. I live for
Yeah.
that. We still have those, bare minimum people, but absolutely lots of people like they come in here, roast me. Bearded dragon customer just came in. Bearded dragon customer came in. It's like, I have a 4x2x2 and I filled it in. They sent me pictures. Like, it's perfect. Like animal can utilize, I want to say 80 if not 90% of that tank. And they were going in for like a 3-4 month on. I'm like, dude, go for it. You're doing the absolute most. I love it. And we have a lot of people like that. And I'm really grateful for that, just for the hobby's sake, for the animal's sake. I'm a huge animal guy. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that.
Yeah. I think, I like your attitude, man. I like how excited you are, and I think that this next generation coming up of reptile keepers, I'm excited to see what they do to push the narrative, progress the hobby forward. Not that I am like the old guy, not that I am like I've been here forever.
Right.
I'm pretty fresh into this myself compared to most people in my age group. But, dude, I look forward to your future. Keep breeding your shit. Breed better animals, not bearded dragons.
Yeah, soon.
Before we get off here and get the ball rolling, did you see anything cool around the show? Anything that was like notable that you're like, oh shit, this is here?
Well, I'm just getting into teas now. They have some pretty nice teas here.
Tarantulas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tarantulas, right. So far, I haven't been able to take a whole lap yet, but it's been nice. It's been a while, and again, super glad you had me on.
Dude, so blue tongues are outside.
Yes,
How's
they
that
are.
going?
It's going great. I kind of built an enclosure kind of exactly like yours.
Perfect.
When it's over about 65, I pull the tarp back and let them get some sun, and they're doing great. Doing great. Yeah.
So I haven't done the tarp thing yet. I haven't done the plastic on top yet. But I don't know. This is my thing. So for those that are listening that don't know what we're talking about, we put some blue tongue skinks outside in some caging. And then a strategy to keep the enclosure insulated is to put either a tarp or a plastic cover over the enclosure so that way it keeps all the heat inside. The reason why I haven't done it yet is that where I have the blue tongues, I get a lot of sun. And what I've noticed, it was like a day that was in even like the high temperature was in the low 60s. I went into the enclosure. I checked on the blue tongues. I was like, all right, let me see how they're doing. And they were warm, dude. Warm to the touch. Yeah. And I was like, damn, man. Like, whatever's happening here, it's working right now. So I haven't done it yet. I still need to buy it. It's hard to, because they sell it in 100 yards or some shit.
I'm actually just using a normal tarp.
A normal tarp? Okay.
Right now, because I need to order the clear stuff you talked about.
Yeah.
Just because it's clear the sunlight can get in. Right now it can be pretty dark, but I mainly did it because we had a few days there where it was storming super bad, and so that's pretty much what I did. I just covered it. The rain would go through. I mean, basically what I did was I built the cage. I put the wire on the bottom. I put it down, and there was some not holes underneath it, but I put peat moss, which is basically just dirt, down to level the ground. Then I put a layer of mulch down. I built a big mountain for the hide box and put the tube in there and put a bag of mulch on top and stuff. And so the rain that did get in there, it drained really well. I'm pretty sure there would be no issues if it actually stormed in there.
Yeah.
But it was pretty great seeing it the other day, or last week when it got warm. I took the tarp off and I went out there and I saw them basking in the sun.
Yeah,
I was
dude,
oh good,
it's great.
They're alive. After it being really cold,
It's great to see them do natural behavior.
Yes.
So, one of the nights I was in the high 40s. The next day I come out and every single one is basking. They're not trying to eat each other. They're not trying to kill each other. They're just basking, doing their thing. Something that I did do in the side that's not so, my tops, half of it can latch up. The other half is just stationary. Yeah. So what I got was that greenhouse clear.
Yeah, I did that on the back half. So
exactly.
So mine are 5.5 feet wide and then 9 feet long or whatever. So the back 2.5 feet. I did one solid door that goes up, and I put that green stuff on there for shade. But it's like you said, the natural behavior. I mean, I had them in essentially a lizard rack before. Yeah. And they would crawl around and try and climb up the sides of the tubs and stuff, general lizard behavior. But it was so cool seeing them dig. They've dug holes in the mulch and burrowed underneath things. It's been really cool seeing that stuff.
Did you see what Manny from Tiki's Geckos did? Bro. So I did mine, you did yours based off of Ron's idea.
Yeah.
Dude, he did 30 of them.
Oh my gosh.
He didn't do 30. He did 5. But it's a shit ton of enclosures.
I needed an adult male. We were talking about that, and I had just bought an adult male from him, and he was like, I'm cutting back. We have over 100-something breeders or whatever. I was like, oh my gosh.
And I was telling him, so my thing is that I'm going to keep my quote-unquote higher-end projects inside. Just because I want to play with maybe just the lower-end stuff, the classics, more pet-grade stuff. I'll put that stuff outside to make sure that I can do the thing before I put my investment stuff out there, right?
Yeah.
He told me he was just going to put everything outside. I was like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. It's definitely... this is definitely a test year, I am scared. I know that they can handle the cold. I'm pretty confident they'll be fine. It'll be a test. You know, Ron gets 95% success rate. So I have 3 pairs out there, and I'll be happy with 1 litter. I'll just be happy with 1. I've had them for 2 years now, and breeding them in tubs didn't work for me. So I want to try
something different. Yeah, I've had good success with the tubs. It's just I really do believe in progressing the stuff that we're doing, and I get shit on by my friends that are here hanging out for breeding in racks. But I mean, the ball python thing, it's been figured out, and I do think that for them it might be best to do that. But a blue tongue is a lizard, and though the roadmap was there and some people were able to get success with that, it can't be the end result.
I think, and I know a lot of people who breed them in the CB70 ball python tubs.
Yeah.
And they have great success.
Yeah.
Fine, that's whatever. Yeah. I legitimately don't care.
Yeah.
But like I do think if you're gonna do them, then you need to do them like how I had them in like actual like they were
The
like
lizard-
bearded dragon racks, almost
yeah.
where you could put a light on them.
Yeah, it was like
know?
the cement mixing tub kind of thing.
They were
it?
almost bigger. Like, they were almost some kind of like greenhouse tub. It's
Okay.
it's the same racks that or Gourmet Rodent. They had all these racks custom built, and they had hundreds of these racks built for their blue tongue colonies, bearded colonies, lizards. They kept savannah monitors in them. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But yes, they were about kind of the size of this table almost. But they were great. I'm going to still keep my babies in them, like you said, inside.
Yeah.
I'm still want to keep my babies in there, but that's pretty much. I'm really enjoying keeping them outside right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this upcoming year. Hopefully the ivories go. You know, that'll be a big one. I have some of that Fuego stuff that I know that you've been wanting, one of the red ones and stuff like that. Other than blue tongues, ball pythons, what's big coming this year? What are you doing that's crazy, out of the ordinary?
Well, it's funny, you know. I've kind of always had a little bit of everything.
Okay.
You know, to try and, you know, what some people like, other people might not like. So I try to have a little bit of everything that people can have. But, you know, I've taken a step back and I've really decided that I have kind of been doing. I've been trying to produce over 100 clutches a year, and I've gotten really bored. I've kind of stopped doing the stuff that I was passionate about when I started that made me a lot of money in the beginning, because I was doing my own thing and started doing stuff that's popular. You know, everybody wants double recessives right now, and that's great. That's fine. I'm still going to work towards double recessives, but I built my empire on chocolate stuff. So like I really want to take a step back and focus more on chocolate stuff. You know, hopefully this year my end goal for years has been like a camo clown, which is a super chocolate pinstripe clown. Hopefully I can hit that this year. I'm going to start working towards a camo desert ghost clown, because the chocolate desert ghost stuff looks great. The super chocolate desert ghost clown someone posted it the other day, looked amazing. So I really want to refocus on some of that stuff. And kind of like I was talking with someone about it the other day, it's like, you know, we keep producing stuff, we keep making stuff, but like I want to refine my passion in it, you know?
Dude, literally that. I'm going to hit on that in a second, but chocolate. Do you think it's the same shit as Raven? This is the thing.
So
I look, not a lot of people know this, but I used to drive a shitbox Honda Civic, okay? And this was when Raven was very expensive, okay? So I traded my shitbox for a Raven and a couple other adult ball pythons. To this day, she hasn't gone for me, but I've seen the price go like this and then up and then down. They look so much like chocolate, though.
So
I don't know where my head is at with this thing.
With genetic testing, we're finding out that a lot of things are either the same or allelic.
Okay.
Now, you know, I would have never guessed in 1,000 years that chocolate and spot nose were allelic.
Yeah.
Like
I
never would have guessed that, because my original goal was chocolate Batmans, and I was working towards that. And then when I found out that like I technically couldn't make them with what I was breeding, because you can't reproduce them. So like it's very complicated, but I will say I was actually in the room when the first chocolate Raven was produced.
Damn.
And it looked like a super chocolate.
Yeah?
So the only thing, like, I will say that they were significantly darker than normal chocolates. My chocolates were darker than most people's chocolates. Like, most people's chocolates looked like normals.
Okay.
I actually bought an adult chocolate head hypo the other day from a friend, and he's like, oh yeah, it looks good. Like, I trusted him. I still trust him. Yeah. And I didn't think anything about it, and he sends it to me, and it looks just like a normal. Like, I believe him, but we'll see what happens. But, like, so I think it's probably just a better line of chocolate.
Got you.
So, because most people's chocolate spiders looked like normal spiders.
Okay.
But my chocolate spiders were dark, reduced pattern, very few lines. They were very cool looking. And I had them on my table, and there was another person had raven spiders on their table, and they looked the same.
Yeah.
But he had them for $10,000. Mine were $400 or $500 at the time. You know, some people were like, "Well, what's the difference?" I'm like, "I don't know.
The world may never know."
Like, I can give you my opinion, but
Yeah.
like, you know, I don't want to hurt someone else's project. You know, prices and stuff. You know, because it happens every day. You know, someone will find something and think it's something new, and that's great. You know, make $100,000 on it. You know, that's kind of how the free market works in general.
Yeah.
You know, just rebranding stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it happens every day in every industry, not just ball pythons. You know,
It's everything.
every reptile. You
Yeah.
know, someone will find something new, think it's something, or find something, think it's new, and then rebrand it and make $100,000 on it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just how it is.
That's the market. So on the market, build, you know, what you were talking about earlier about your passion. So I am going through a very similar thing. And it's nice to hear that I'm not the only one. Because, you know, I've said it for the past year and a half that I was looking around my reptile room and realizing, like, you know, I'm losing money on this, losing money on that, and I'm not making a lot of money on this stuff. So I started moving stuff. And now I'm looking around again. And it's just like I feel like I'm part of the rat race where I'm now.
Yes.
Now I'm like, dude, like, where's my fucking passion in this? But also, like, I need to make sure that I'm trying to make some money because the goal is to be able to do this full time, anyways. You know, and I'm just having a very difficult time, like, juggling all of that.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, the blue tongues, in a sense, it doesn't cost a lot to produce a blue tongue. You know, but the ball pythons, if you're not breeding your own rodents, even if you're getting them straight from the breeder, it's still fucking expensive, man.
So I've been reevaluating my collection and I'm gonna be cutting back probably about 40 females.
Okay.
Just because I have like 5 or 6 Mojave females,
Yeah.
and then I have like 3 blue-eyed Lucy females, and it's like, well, if
You
I
might
use
as well
it-
keep the blue-eyed
I
Lucy.
might as well
yeah.
keep the blue-eyed Lucies and get rid of the Mojaves. That way, I guarantee that I'm making all blue-eyed Lucies.
Yeah.
You know, because like blue-eyed Lucies sell. I'm not really passionate about blue-eyed Lucies, but they always sell.
Yeah.
Because like everybody wants a white snake, you know.
Yeah.
But I'd rather be making all of them than making
Half of them.
Mojaves
Yeah,
too. You know?
yeah.
Because I call, you know, my last name is Scheer. I call it sheer luck. Like I'll hit 1 blue-eyed Lucy and 8
Yeah.
Mojaves, and I literally that's what happened this year. Is I had 2 Mojave females that went, and one of them I got like 6 blue-eyed Lucies. Great.
Yeah.
The other one I got 1. You know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and then like 10 Mojave females. So it's just like I'd rather cut back on that and like
Yeah.
fill those spots with stuff that I am passionate about.
Yeah,
you know?
with what you were saying earlier about like having a little bit of everything, and it's like I share a very similar mentality, but to a certain like a similar thing. Like I almost feel like I shot myself in the foot doing that because now it's like I have so limited rack space, and I'm like I want to focus on this project, but do I want to get rid of this? Like, dude, like I only have 3 animals for a puzzle project. I have, and mind you, I've had them for a while. It's a leopard het puzzle, a het puzzle, GHI het puzzle. This
I
year,
love leopard puzzles.
yeah. So this year the GHI het puzzle went, and I thought that I hit a GHI leopard puzzle. I didn't, you know. And it's like, you know, I'm looking at these animals now, and I'm like, I'm way behind. You know, do I need to move stuff? Do I have the funds because the other stuff's not moving now that the market's bad? And now I'm, you know, if I miss getting something good this year, I'm gonna be 3 years behind. And it's just, it hurts,
Dude,
man.
that's how I feel, you know, with me losing my collection at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I can try to catch up, you know, because everybody and their mother wants double, triple, quadruple recessives at this point, you know. So I can either spend tens of thousands of dollars to try and catch up.
Yeah.
Or I can just do what I like.
Yeah.
You know, like literally I was having this discussion, like, because I still am going to try and do some stuff. Like, I have an adult dreamsicle female, which is a lavender albino pied.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck am I going to breed her to? Do I go, I don't have a male for it. I'm like, do I go buy a dreamsicle male for $1,000, $1,500 and make all dreamsicles? Or do I go buy a clown pied for the same price and make, you know, all pieds that are double het lavender albino clowns, you know? And, you know, it's hard because, like, you know, I do kind of want to go towards triple recessives, like, at some point, but, like, at the end of the day, like, clown pieds are cool, but, like, they're not the best looking animals. Like, most people I know don't think clown pieds look good. They just have them because they're popular.
Yeah.
You know, so it's hard deciding what routes to go down because certain double and triple recessives, like you got to be very careful because it doesn't look good. Like I have a Desert Ghost Clown, but you can't tell Desert Ghost Lavenders.
Yeah.
You know, so it's hard figuring out what you want to do with certain projects. You know?
Man, I agree. Well, not trying to shit so much on the ball python market, not trying to be that guy.
It
you know?
is what it is.
It is what it is. This is where we're at, but I'm still looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to figuring this stuff out.
It's all the economy, you know.
Yeah.
You know, depending on who wins the election, you know, the economy will go back up, you know.
Yeah.
So it's all going to come back. You know, I talk to people every day. You know, everybody's scared, everybody's getting out. You know, I've been in this almost 15 years now, and I've seen this almost exact thing happen. It happens every 4 years. How weird, right?
Yeah.
You know, people getting out because the economy is bad, you know, and stuff like that. But it'll come back. I give it, you know, I think, you know, this last year or this current year was rough. I think this next year is going to be rough too. I think people are going to have to reevaluate like what we're doing, figure out what they want to keep in their collection, find their passion again. Yeah. You know, not trying to sell my own stuff, but like this would be an amazing time for people to get into it. Yeah. Because you could get, I have a bunch of adult females. Everybody has a bunch of adult females. Like this would be the perfect time for a new person to really get into it.
Yeah.
Because you could get really good stuff for good
prices. Yeah. And I feel very similar about the blue tongues.
Yes.
You know, because, you know, 2 years ago we were selling $1,000, $1,500 really nice red northerns, you know, where now they're not really selling for that. But eventually they're going to sell for that again. Yeah,
you know? and we've talked about this. You know, my plan with the blue tongues is, you know, let's say I make 20 babies. I want to keep like 10 of them, sell the other 10, and just to buy morphs. Yeah. Like, you know, everything I have is normal. You know, I can't tell some of the light stuff, but, you know, and I love the ivories. You know, I want to get albinos, stuff like that, you know. So I really want to reinvest back into that, but I don't want to put any money in it. Does that make sense? You know,
I get it.
Reinvest.
Yeah, reinvest for sure. There's nothing better than the smell of coffee in the morning. Okay. There's also nothing better than the smell of reptiles in the morning. Psych. Reptiles with coffee. That's the smell you want. The strongest coffee. All right. We have it for you. Head on over to the description or go to coldbloodedcaffeine.com and use the code REPTILESWITH to get your Reptiles with coffee today. If you want to support us, head on over to modernreptileshop.com or in the description where you can find our merch. And the best part is that 1% of the proceeds from the merch gets donated to conservation. One more time, that's modernreptileshop.com or head on over to the description.
So hog noses, okay? They recently blew up maybe a couple years ago. And I understand that they didn't like blow up super quickly at the beginning because hognoses aren't the easiest to breed. You know, sometimes they cannibalize, sometimes they eat their own eggs, all these types of issues, right? But now that we have different morphs, it's been several years. Why don't we see more people producing hogs?
People produce. It's just they're not always for sale.
That doesn't make any sense.
A lot of the time, you have to
You're
wait
producing to
until
sell them, guys.
Yeah, but the thing is with hogs too, they're kind of a pain in the ass to wean.
Right. No.
Especially as like a beginner who's getting their first snake. Yeah. I wouldn't give someone a 5-month-old
No, yeah, but it's
hog.
been years. It's been years. This is in December. You know, hopefully you've had your hogs for several months now.
They're still kind of overpriced, so there's that kind of a paywall.
Actually, you know what? I just saw an Xanthic hognose for $300, dude.
Hey, that's a great deal.
What the?
Go buy it.
That was the price of a normal like 2 years ago.
Yeah, still is.
It still
is in some places.
That's
it really
crazy.
is.
It's insane.
What else happened? Yeah, we were walking around. Oh yeah, I completely crashed the what is it called? The speed run of the the what's it called? That word. What's that word?
Speed run live feed.
The live feed, like the time lapse. That's what it is. I completely crashed Sasabek's time lapse. I'm very sorry. I was looking at something. I don't even remember what it was.
That's so funny.
I do apologize for that.
It's recording. You're just like, turn it off.
Oh my god.
Put it down.
I gotta pay attention to my surroundings a lot more.
But yeah.
Other than that, I saw a bunch of Hermans, which was nice to see. I like
Hermans
seeing
are
little
cool.
baby Hermans.
Hermans are cool. The rainbow boas. Rainbow boas are back.
I take that back.
Fire.
There's more than 2 things that I saw.
Yeah.
Those big rainbows are actually really nice.
You know, so how do we move people away from ball pythons?
You don't have to move people away from ball pythons. They have their place. I'm not gonna shit on people for liking ball pythons or working.
No, I won't shit on the people for liking them. It's more just like
what I wish is that people have. Is it wet here? It is wet here.
Yeah.
I wish that people I want people to branch out more. I want people to get out of the comfort zone, because the biggest reason they stay with ball pythons is because it checks all their bases.
Yeah.
It's a good size, it's pretty, and it's nice.
I think with like turtles and ball pythons, it's good as like the intro animal, but not like the enthusiast's animal.
And
you can be an enthusiast and like ball pythons. I think the thing is that, I want a snake in general. Ball python fills that niche. Now you're done.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I like reptiles, the ball python
want to
doesn't
get
fill
into
that
something
for you.
different, there's other things out there. Because what I see a lot is that people cap out at ball pythons.
Exactly.
They think that's it.
Yeah, they're like, that's
they're
it.
like, no, that is not it.
No.
There's a whole another world here. But the ball python is the most, not most affordable in general, but it is the most available.
With like the best pet snake, beginner pet snake, is it that much of a better snake compared to others? Yes, I agree.
Yes.
It is the best, but I don't think it's leagues ahead of all other
It's
species.
not leagues ahead. It's just their start. It's really just the size that they start at.
Yeah.
The size that they start at is so much better than almost all the other species.
Yeah.
Because corn snakes, noodles, they get lost.
Yeah.
They get broken.
Yep. Carpet pythons, hogs, they all stay very thin, very
carpets
small.
Carpets are assholes when they're little. I'll admit that. Hogs are also very small and very, very not wanting to eat. Yeah. Which is a very big thing. There's not really a lot of competition. The other thing that I would probably say is better is a boa. But the thing is, for some people, the boa is too much snake.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how? But
because an adult ball, an adult ball is not so far away from an adult boa. You're not looking at
the baby
actual
stage.
constrictors.
It is the baby and juvenile stage that will completely change the outcome of what someone goes home with. Yeah. Because the baby bearded dragon is not gonna, it will sit still to an extent, but it's not gonna be nowhere near as aggressive as a blue tongue or something like that, or have as much attitude as a blue tongue. So they go home with the bearded dragon instead. It depends on what you're looking for pets. What is the most common reason for a pet? They want something to hang out with that they can touch and hold. So that tends to very much like sway what people end up taking home. I feel like if people either get more balls to hold other things, or accept the fact that not everything needs to be held, and can appreciate something besides.
I hold my animals very little. Very little.
More. I have to hold them more because I don't
they're starting to become assholes.
They're not becoming assholes. It's just like I'm losing my touch with them.
I'm not gonna lie. I love assholes more. I think they're more exciting.
More fun.
They're like,
it is more fun.
Oh, stop.
I will always say every time we talk about my Puerto Rican boa, I always hate taking it out, but when I take it out, I'm like, I'm doing it. And it's being like a thing. Yeah, dude. It's not just sitting there, and you can see the neurons in their head work and all that stuff. And the same thing with colubrids, I'm sure. Yeah. So
what did you bring today?
Today, 3 stripes.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that? Yeah, 3 stripes.
Yeah.
Little turtles. I hate
the
having
best
to part
pet turtles.
with them, but I have to. I gotta get used to it.
Yeah.
I
just make an army. Just keep an army.
That's what I'm trying to do. But I cut my army in half for today.
Okay.
So I still have my sentimental ones.
But it's good because they're natives. So if anybody, as awful as it is,
that's not even what I'm worried about. People have been killing them. Is what has been happening, and it makes me so sad.
It's because they're small and they want to stick them in a giant tank full of water.
No, coincidentally, the 2 times that they have died, it is because of divorced households that aren't on the same page of taking care of the animal.
Damn.
So the mom or the dad will be all for it. They'll get the tank and everything, but at the mom's house or at the other parent's house, it goes to shit. So
remember,
they fill
guys,
it up all the way up. They don't get the lights. They don't do anything, and the animal dies.
Remember, guys, a pet will not save your marriage. Don't get them.
Yeah, and another thing too, if you're divorced and you're trying to get a pet for your kid to be happy, both parents need to be on the same page.
Sure.
They really do.
Yeah.
It's sad sometimes, but
it is.
On a good note, it was still a nice show to go to.
Yeah.
It's the end of the year, sir. This is my last Repticon show of the year. It's only fitting to do this with you, the local legend.
Oh.
Eddie, how you doing?
Pressured now.
Listen, we're here. We're hanging out. What are your animals doing now that it's cold outside, buddy?
Sleeping.
Sleeping.
Yeah, so everything that's outside is imbrumation.
Okay.
So I do the same thing that you see, like what Ron does with the plastic. So all my lacerdas are down. My frogs are down. The water dragons are not down. This is nothing to them. So they'll still bask at like 40 degrees.
Are you... What... So, brumation, you're not... I'm assuming you're not feeding at all. Are you finding, like, the hot days to kind of, like, throw a little bit of something in?
So, like, yesterday, for example, it was really warm where the animals were.
Uh-huh.
And I watered everybody. I didn't feed anybody yet. The only ones who did get fed were the water dragons, just because they're active. They do not care.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Last year, I found them in the water, and it was like 35 degrees.
Yeah.
And any other animal, they would panic and die.
Yeah.
These things couldn't care less. Like, I freaked out and I grabbed them and they just looked at me like, what?
Yeah, I had a little bit of a family emergency the week that it was like in the 40s here, so I wasn't home to bring in the animals.
Yeah,
and dude, I have baby Phelsuma outside. They did fine.
Yep.
I have crested geckos outside. They're doing fine, acting normal. It's crazy,
Your
dude.
cresses will do fine, and then Phelsuma standing eye. They actually do pretty well in cooler temps. So the animals that I keep outside permanently, they're just covered and all that, and they can go underneath. Everything else I have on like rolling racks. So, like for example, if it's an animal that doesn't like to get too wet, when it rains too much, I could just wheel it into my building.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the weather right now, that tropical stuff, like the anoles, some of the tropical lizards, those are all in the building when it gets cold.
Yeah.
And then they get wheeled out on warmer days.
Okay.
So
Cool.
So honestly, I'm never really worried about winter.
Yeah. And you're using that same plastic right there that you're throwing up top?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it works really well as long as you know what you're doing. If not, you're going to cook your animals.
Really?
Or if you forget, you leave. So I make sure that before I leave for the day, or when I wake up, the moment that sun comes out, I take it. I don't uncover the whole thing. I cover like partial.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because it does retain a good amount of heat for them.
Good, man.
But yeah, the tortoises right now, they're in their bunkers whenever it gets cold. They're smart. If it's cold, they just stay there.
Yeah.
They have the heat projectors on when it needs to be.
Yeah.
But as soon as the sun comes out, the Aldabras are out, the Redfoots are out.
That's like the best thing about keeping shit here in Florida, man. There's so much that you can fucking do.
I mean, it's still stressful. Like this time of year is stressful for me. And also, I don't like the way it looks. It's really hideous. I don't like looking in my backyard and there's plastic sheets everywhere.
Yeah.
It's hideous. I like things to look lush and pretty.
Yeah.
As weird as that is. But yeah, I prefer that. But
okay. Cool. Is there anything this upcoming year that you're breeding that is like that you want to be notable?
I think this year I'm going to have a kick-ass Lacerda season.
Okay.
And when I say Lacerdas, I don't mean just the jewels. I have pretty much all the species of the Taman species, which is your leopard, or not your leopards, your standard jewel Lacerdas and other ones. That's probably the one I'm most excited for because I have some oddball stuff from that. But honestly, nothing that stands out compared to other years.
Okay.
A bunch of knobtails. They kind of brumate as well. But my building gets cold enough where all I got to do is just turn off the heat for them and let them brumate in the building.
Okay.
So every year my goal is to produce at least 5 new species that I never produced before. So
damn, that's a lot of species.
That's what I'm excited for. So this year is going to be a lot of next year is going to be a lot of knobtails, a lot of those weird Lacerdas that I was telling you about, and some oddball gecko stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I saw. What was that stuff that you posted? The
beaded geckos.
Beaded geckos.
Yeah, I got a few here.
Okay.
That one was funny because I thought they'd be hard to breed.
Yeah.
And I only started off with a pair, and usually you don't want to start off with a pair of animals because something can go wrong.
Yeah.
Those things are so prolific. I have we probably had like 6, and I think she's about to like drop more eggs. Starting now, so
yeah,
very prolific.
So if you wanted to break that into like the mainstream, if you wanted to be like, yo, like reptile keepers, like this is an animal that you're gonna want to keep, why do you want to keep that?
That gecko?
Yeah,
they're actually kind of prolific. They're I was about to say they're professional. No,
they're professional.
They're personable.
Okay, but that's professional. They're professional.
They're
pets.
professional pets. They will actually come up and like kind of look at you and see that you're gonna feed them. If you have the little cup, we all had that little cup.
Yeah.
If you have a little cup full of crickets, they're going crazy, like seeing what they can do.
Yeah.
And they're actually kind of social with each other. So, but other than that, they're not really. They're so small and fragile. Like they're not really like they're not a dragon at all.
Yeah. Oh, what are the Gidgeys doing? You have the Gidgeys.
I have
right?
Gidgeys. They're fat. There's one that I think is gravid, but they're cool. They come out, they kind of look at me, but they're one of those animals that when I open the glass and I try to grab them, they're like, "Oh, psych," and they kind of run away. They're cool. They eat a lot. I'm hopeful I can produce them.
Yeah.
From what I understand, they're not hard at all. And also, I have a lot of zebra skinks too.
Okay.
So we have like 4 pairs of zebra skinks.
Jesus, dude.
And those are cool. Those are actually a cool pet. Those are very outgoing.
How do you find time to do all of this, dude?
Drugs.
Oh, okay.
No. I don't sleep at all. I have kids at home, so I'm awake because of that, awake because of all this other stuff. So you got to make time. If you're in this, you have to make time, or else animals are going to suffer.
Yeah, I've been having that talk with myself of, do I have too much? And I definitely don't have as much as you do, but it's been a thing where it's like, dude, like for the most part, the people that my business is me, my cousin, and my brother-in-law. The thing is that I moved up here.
They're
You know?
down there.
Yeah, well, my cousin's down there. My brother-in-law, he kind of lives in this area, but he's not like an animal person. Like, he just got into it because he's like, I'm going to put some money into this. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, I have no help. I mean, I kind of prefer it that way.
Yeah.
But like my family, they're not reptile
Yeah.
people. They were raised with it, so it's
Yeah.
not cool to them.
Exactly. So, yeah, like I'm doing this by myself, and then it's like the full-time job, and then I got to get home here, and then like right now, like the time's all weird. It's getting like the dark's coming up, so it's like I hardly make it home in time to deal with the animals and stuff like that.
For me, the most stressful part is like egg laying season.
Yeah.
Just because like the redfoots are so good. Like if you're not watching them, they're so good at hiding those eggs.
Yeah, man.
And then you got to start digging and looking.
Yeah.
I mean, they usually
And
hatch
they do
on
a
their own.
lot of fucking test nests, dude.
Yeah. Yesterday I had a female do 3 separate test nests.
That's why.
And then still didn't lay.
Yeah.
That's always stressful because I don't like missing a nest.
Yeah.
Just because I might have a raccoons or something come in and dig them up.
Yeah.
Or like if it rains really hard, it floods. There's so many different things. I just
Yeah.
want to get them. Or like if it's a new time mother, depending on it doesn't matter the species, but like if she lays not in the egg box, just lays everywhere. Like I need to be prepared and be able to get those eggs.
Of course. Yeah.
So far, I've been pretty lucky with that.
Yeah.
So if I see an animal that's like super close to laying eggs, I'll put them in a lay bin. So they have no choice but to lay in that situation,
Yeah.
so I don't have to go looking for it.
Yeah. So we spoke a little bit earlier. You have some leopard tortoises. So that's going to be something that you're going to be doing this year. Are they big enough?
No, I produce leopards.
I never see you with leopards.
Yeah. I have 2 pairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have 2 pairs. They're not as prolific as like the redfoots. So
Okay.
So like for instance, last year I only produced like 6.
Okay.
It's a joint project with one of my buddies.
Okay.
So they're not as prolific.
You got a lot of joint projects,
I know.
man.
And this is, it's funny. This is something that I vowed that I would never do when I first got into this.
Yeah.
Like, don't do joint projects. And most of my projects are all joint projects.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, I guess we'll kind of like end it with this: is how does one maneuver between staying independent or having partners? Because if you're independent, it's a lot of work, obviously, because you're taking it all on yourself. You're putting in all the money. It kind of sounds nice to have some partners.
Yeah.
But does it get tricky when you're dealing with money? Does it get tricky when you're like
I mean,
trying
that
to
hasn't
like, split
happened.
stuff?
That hasn't happened yet with money.
And
I'm gonna do my best to make sure it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because the majority of the animals that I have, they're not my animals. They're on loans and stuff for me to breed them.
Okay.
So I always try to make sure I give the person updates. And they're people that I trust. They're not just like random people off the street. Because
Yeah, of course.
I've actually had people, like random people come up to me and try to like do a project with me, and I'm like, no, I'm good. So like for instance, if the animals are doing really well, I update. If it lays eggs, hey look, it's laying eggs. Hey look, it's doing this. But you're also dealing with live animals. I've lost some animals that don't belong to me. I've like deceased and actually like lost.
Yeah.
That's never fun because they're not my animals.
Yeah.
Regardless of the price tag or not, like it still sucks because that person gave you the
Yeah.
animals to work with.
Darian posted on Facebook the other day. He was like, "Oh, who can I sponsor to like breed like some wild?"
I saw that. My name was like thrown in there.
Yeah, I tagged myself.
Oh, that's what an asshole.
But I wouldn't. The thing is,
Did he say like rare animals though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ball pythons are pretty weird. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like normals?
Yeah. Those are rare.
Those
You don't
are
see
rare.
those anymore.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I did it as a joke because honestly, like, I'm okay with like having like the partners that I have because it is like my family and I don't mind that, but like I've thought about like doing some kind of stuff like that. It gets complicated and I get worried about like,
I would
an animal
prefer.
dies.
Ideally, I wouldn't prefer not to do it, just because of that. I'm just
Yeah.
afraid of losing an animal that's not mine.
Yeah.
And again, that's already happened. And again, these are people that I trust and they trust me, so they understand that things go wrong.
Yeah.
It's not like I take their animals and disappear. Hey, fuck off and delete myself off all social media. Like they know where to find me. I'm everywhere.
Dude.
But no, it's tricky. But so far, hopefully I have proved myself to those people. In fact, some of the animals that I have here are joint projects.
I mean, dude, you're a fucking legend. What am I gonna say?
They say that. I don't know.
They do say that.
I-
Everybody's saying it.
My wife doesn't say that. She doesn't.
Your
say
wife
that.
is my favorite.
Yeah, she doesn't say that. Yeah, you kept telling her like, "Oh, he's the best," and she's like,
She's
Alright.
like, "Stop! You're gonna stroke his ego."
"Yeah." As I let it happen.
Yeah. No, that's great, dude. Well, we gotta meet up with the guys again. Do like a big time podcast.
A joint one. Well, Ron's in brumation.
Okay. I didn't know if I could talk about that. I don't know if that's a private thing or not. What is up with that?
No, that's just what he does. Okay, so he's where he's from in the world. He needs to cool down in Miami.
Okay.
He needs to cool down. He'll come out and bask on warm temperatures. Maybe get some water, coffee, some foods he's not supposed to eat, and then he'll just go back.
That is
All right.
funny. So he cycles just like his animals.
He cycles, yeah.
Okay. I had a friend of mine ask me if he was okay because he hasn't posted on Facebook.
Yeah, this is what he does.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, I guess he's fine.
And then he'll come out if he sees your shadow. You're good. He'll come
So it's
out.
kind of like Groundhog Day.
He's like a groundhog.
So when Ron comes out of brumation, it's officially breeding season.
Yeah. Not just for
That's-
him, but for everybody.
That is great.
Yeah. And then you'll start seeing him post more.
Oh.
And then you're
okay.
like, oh,
And then now we're
Ron's-
starting to breed.
Ron's awake.
Yeah.
He's good.
Okay. So I'm gonna wait to breed any of my animals until I start seeing him post.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll
That's
pull him out. We'll pull him out of his house like they do on TV. And
Okay.
then we'll, have you ever seen that where they pull the groundhog out?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like bullshit. Like they just rip it out and
Yeah.
they just force it out. We'll do that to Ron. No, but this is the thing he does every year.
Yeah.
He goes into brumation and he'll come out and life is good.
What a funny guy. Good
He's-
for him.
Good for him. He's probably gonna watch this and be like, "What the fuck?"
I'm gonna send this to him. That's great. All right,
Sorry,
buddy.
Ron.
All right, listen. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, the whole thing. Thank you for doing
You
this
as
with
well.
me. Love you, buddy. How's the show? This guy doesn't stop talking. This guy doesn't know how to have a conversation. He's just taking up all the airspace. I think I made him shy.